The goal of this podcast is to help you break in and thrive in advertising and
marketing
and
business.
how to build a business this episode. That's why Jack is here. Jack Westerkamp, co-founder of Breaking Entering, who's been running a lot of the business on the back end, and who's going to be on some podcasts in the future. However, today, Jack, who do we interview?
Max Schauff, co-founder of LineLeap.
And what the heck is LineLeap?
Pretty much, if you've ever waited in line to get to a bar, you can download their app, pay, and you can get out of the line. Their ethos is get to fun faster, and that's what they're all about.
Love it. So we'll talk about what it's like to be a young entrepreneur, to get funding, and then how to build that brand and the marketing around it. And what I really love is how we get into the early days of LineLeap and how they approach their go-to-market strategy and their marketing direct to consumers by showing up on campuses and talking with their customers. So really great episode. You're going to want to listen to the full thing. Take your time with it. If you like what you hear, please leave 5 stars on Apple and on Spotify. That goes a long way to help us continue to get amazing guests. Now on with the show.
This is the Breaking and Entering Brand Side podcast. And as usual, wait, what is
kind of as usual?
Not as usual.
We are your accomplices.
We are your accomplices. Jack,
Gino.
Kick it, Mikey.
Kick it, Mikey. Well done.
Kick it, Mikey.
Yep,
nailed it.
You guys are gonna love this. Enjoy. Are you tired of the endless struggle to find great strategy and account talent at no single individual? They've redefined freelance support with a team-based model that combines expert strategists and account people and hybrid teams ready to deliver when you need them most. Whether you're covering for family leave, scaling up for a pitch, or filling hiring gaps, no single individual's cohesive, custom curated teams integrate seamlessly with your agency, onboarded in days, not months. With experience spanning agencies of all sizes, no single individual is here to help great teams do great work. Ready to strengthen your talent brain trust? Well, visit nosingleindividual.com today. All right, we are rolling. Jack, do you want to tell us what we're talking about today? What we got?
I'm going to pass it over to Max because I want you to explain to everyone, where are we right now? If you can read, I just learned how to read.
Can we wear these hats?
Yeah, can we?
If you want to.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. Pass me one.
There you go.
Thanks. This is sweet.
I'll go no bucket.
This is like when I got like the picking your college commitment.
Yeah.
I'm going the LineLeap.
There you go.
All right.
Little selection.
Sweet. Well, I think this is sweet because so we're at the LineLeap office, and this is a really cool episode because we're talking with a founder, someone who is leading the marketing and been with the business from the start. I know if you're watching on video, it says 1 million. LineLeap has 1 million users. And so I'll pass to you. What are they using? What is LineLeap?
Yeah.
So quick little intro on LineLeap and a little bit about myself. So started LineLeap about 8 years ago while I was a sophomore in college at University of Wisconsin. 2 of my partners, Nick and Patrick, that went to Michigan.
Whoa!
I know.
How does that work out?
We'll
That dynamic.
We'll get to that. But ultimately, as any great idea starts, it's solving a personal problem, and that personal problem was we found ourselves waiting in long lines at our favorite bars, and figured there had to be a better way to get in and skip that line that didn't involve an awkward conversation with the door staff and what comes along with that. So, we started LineLeap from there and launched with a simple website. Really kind of the goal just to get it out in the world and see if it works, see if bars would like it, see if customers would like it, and kind of grew from there. So launched on a -5-degree February night in Madison, and 8 years later, we're at 1 million users that we just hit a couple weeks ago. We're at over 400 bars across the country and 100 different campuses and cities. So it's been an amazing time.
So what is like today? How would you define what the product is? What everything it entails?
Yeah, I mean, our motto is fun faster. So anything we kind of do in the app and with events and things that we do in our products revolves around fun and getting customers to that fun faster, getting them to create those memories, and really just kind of surrounding ourselves with that. So our primary product is the Line Skip product. As simple as it sounds, it's like a Disney Fast Pass for college bars. So you go on the app, purchase a Line Skip Pass, jump from the back of the line to the front of the line. So super simple, and that was where the idea originated from. From there, we've been able to work with these bars, get to know them, generate them lots of extra revenue, and along the way, figure out other pain points and other features and products that work for them. So we've added, mobile cover fee for bars that do charge a cover, event ticketing. We throw the world's largest bar crawls. We do concerts, DJ events. We kind of do it all. And again, anything that is really centered around the fun and those best memories that you create on a night out.
That's awesome. And everything that you're saying sounds like these are all things that you came up with. It's all ways of getting the product out there in front of people. And something like this, it feels like hands-on. Yeah. And so I know we were kind of talking earlier, and we'll get into like the origin story and all that, but first I got to hear about the -5 degree night.
So this was a fun one. I mean, it was our first night. We were about to launch, and again, like me, Patrick, and Nick, we didn't have coding experience. We didn't have that in our kind of toolbox. So we're like, how's the easiest, cheapest, quickest way to just test this idea out? And that was building a simple website. We can, anyone can do it. So we're like, all right, let's build a website. Let's see if a bar will agree to do this, and let's just get it out in the world, and we'll iterate from there. So Whiskey Jack's in Madison, Wisconsin was, grateful enough to give us that chance and give us that go.
So how did you get them to say yes? Was it just like you just knew someone?
No, just knocked on doors. We just
went
really?
To the
bar, and
Damn.
we had, every other bar in town told us no, and now they all work with us, and we're great friends with them, and it's been a great partnership for the last 8 years. But it took them a while to give us a chance. Whiskey Jack's, fortunately, was one right from the get-go that's like, yep, let's give it a try. So what happened is they had a 25-cent beer special on Thursday nights, where it was literally 25-cent beer.
Yeah.
And I think it was a fairly new deal that they had just announced, so not that many people knew about it. And our whole goal was, let's draw a massive crowd to the bar, then we'll be there with LineLeap as this new thing. So we somehow got the full school email list from mutual connection.
That's correct.
As he was the president of a club, and had this whole school email list.
The whole University of Wisconsin,
all,
Madison.
40,000.
That's literally like
That's
the
a dream.
social network Zuckerberg when he's pulling the code from all.
Right.
If Zuckerberg just knew a guy who had all those
So we had that email list, and on Wednesday we sent out an email blast saying 25-cent beer at Whiskey Jack's tomorrow. Again, the whole goal is just bring a massive crowd.
Yeah.
And so the next day, Thursday, I'm sitting in class, and literally all around us, I just hear people being like, hey, did you hear about that 25-cent beer at Whiskey Jack's? Did you hear about it? And I'm just like, holy shit, this could be crazy. So on top of that, -5 degree night, so no one's dressed, appropriately enough for that. So we're there, we get our sign set up, and sure enough, 8:30, 9 o'clock rolls around, and there is a massive line. And so we're there, and we're handing out little business cards.
Right.
Like, hey, if you don't want to wait in line, you can skip it. And within seconds, we just had a mosh pit around us of people just handing us their phone and credit cards, being like, get me in. Don't care what the price is, just get us in. So, we were out there punching in their credit cards into their phones, buying the skips for them. Here you go, show that to the bouncer, head in. And literally by the end of the night, we were frostbit. I couldn't feel my fingers, my toes were shot.
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
So that's the origin story. That's how he started. That's how you got users 0 through 200.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
a million later.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
So, okay, now that we got the origin story, we kind of know where you're at now. This is like a Scorsese film almost. You gotta go back and forth.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to hear about how you got started. Is that fair? Is that a good place to go?
Usually would kick it back now. So what did you study? You went to Wisconsin Madison. how did you get to this entrepreneurial spirit? And then we got to get into the advertising of this
Oh
damn
yeah,
thing.
Of course.
and then
So that's my flow.
Yep.
But we
That's
can
how
go
I-
anywhere from there.
No, that works, and we have a lot of fun ways that we've marketed this and grown to 1 million users, and honestly some unconventional ways too. But going backwards a little bit, how I even got into this world. So went to Wisconsin, decided I wanted to go the engineering route, so I did mechanical engineering and ended up getting a degree in that, even though I haven't touched it ever. But I've always had like kind of the creative mind, and like I think Patrick, Nick, and I have super complementary traits and skills, and mine has always just been kind of like creative and understand like the marketing side of it.
And Mech Eng.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Is it Mech Eng? Is that people call it mechanical
Mech-y,
engineering?
Yeah, Mech Eng.
Yep.
You're creative in
Dang.
Mech Eng. This is good. What
Right.
were they studying? They're at Ann Arbor.
So Nick was finance and is now our CFO naturally,
Yep.
and Patrick, our CEO, he was econ. So
There we go. Got
they're
it.
all kind of
Wow.
spread across. But
That's awesome.
so Patrick and I had met our freshman year. So we both joined a food delivery startup that was started out of USC in LA by a few guys, and Patrick knew one of the founders. Me and my roommate stumbled across a job posting where they're actually hiring delivery riders.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, let's do that. And then started to work our way up into campus manager, ended up working our way into a regional manager, ended up being the heads of marketing. So we just kind of worked up
Yeah.
for about a year and a half there. But that company was awesome because it was only at a few campuses at the time when we joined. And we grew it, me, Patrick, my roommate, along with a few others. We grew that to 25 campuses across the country. And
Wow.
we were just freshmen.
Oh.
So
As freshmen.
it was, that was our way of just getting our hands dirty and figuring out, we did everything from hiring delivery drivers to signing on restaurants to marketing it and obviously getting users and buyers. So that was like our first experience.
You're like
at
a
the start.
dream for that startup. Like that startup is we got
Right.
the gold mine that we stumbled upon of these kids that just want to be delivery drivers.
So we had the passion for it.
Yeah, clearly.
And, that's where we literally got to learn everything. We lived with the founders for a summer out in California, so it was just a way to like fully engulf ourselves into that and really just learn what it takes to grow a startup and make those decisions and whatnot. So fast forward a little bit. Again, we spent a year and a half working on that. Company was acquired by a bigger food delivery company, and we had already been toying around with the idea of LineLeap. Patrick had kind of noticed an app doing something similar in Michigan, and we're like, well, no one's been able to scale this idea. It's not a foreign idea by any means.
Right.
We get all the time where people are like, oh, I thought of that. We're like, yeah, so is a million other people, but no one's been able to scale it. No one's been able to expand past maybe like one bar on their campus. So that was the exact situation kind of going on in Ann Arbor. And, Patrick's like, hey, what's like the Madison scene like? And then, obviously like, it's a great bar scene.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential here for it. So instead of kind of moving along with the company that acquired our food delivery startup, we're just like, let's branch off and try this on our own.
Yeah.
And that was around winter break of our sophomore year. So we came back in February, launched at Whiskey Jack's.
Unbelievable. So you launched it there, and then from then on, are you just working on it? Well, it's cool because you said you graduated, so
Right.
you stayed in school.
Yep.
What was what was that kind of like when you were in college working on it?
Yeah, I mean, to start off, like, again, it started small. Like, we were just trying to get local bars in Ann Arbor and Madison to do it, and started chipping away at it. And then really, come summer, that's when we went, like, kind of full go at it. So we, used what little money we had a couple shitty cars, and loaded up and drove across country, pounding on doors, signing bars. So...
and this was the summer after your sophomore year?
Yep, summer after sophomore year,
Yep.
and we got told no, like literally hundreds of times.
Why? Like, what were they saying? I guess like summer is usually on a campus. It's gonna be quieter.
Right. Well, that was part of it. So it's hard to actually get a decision maker in the bar at that time of year when they're all gone and on vacation, enjoying their time off. But it's also like 3 young kids. Like Nick wasn't even 21 yet, so he wasn't even like technically allowed to get into the bar. It was just me and Patrick. But I mean, it's young kids coming with this next great idea, and again, a million people have thought of this idea. They've approached these bars before. Bars get apps approach them all the time, so it's sort of just like a reactionary thing to say no. And I mean, like, some of our best bars told us no numerous times, and now we laugh about it. So like, remember when would just kick me out of the door every single time I came in, and now look at us, right?
That's the best. That's the best.
So that's like they kept saying no. So that means that you kept going
We
back
kept
to
going
them.
in,
Yeah, you see.
And because with all those no's were some timely yeses. So
Yeah.
we would get a few to say yes, and we would start to generate revenue, and we'd come right back and
Got
say,
it.
look what we're doing at, in Madison, look what we're doing in LSU, look what we're doing in Arizona. And we were spread out a little bit, and that just allowed us to finally, gain their trust and show them, like, hey, we're legit, and we're, generating money.
Right.
So then it caused some timely yeses, and we were able to use those to help us just kind of slow roll it, and that's how we'd spend our next really 2 years, and just slowly grew, and we would enter a couple business plan competitions. So we won first place at Wisconsin, we won some money at Michigan, so we'd use that to then fund our next summer, and just each summer we kind of hit the road. So kind of fast forward to our senior year. We applied for an accelerator called Y Combinator, so Airbnb, DoorDash, Stripe, bunch
The best.
Yeah, it's the
startups
best.
have gone through it, and it's like a less than 2% acceptance rate. So we didn't have our hopes up that high, but we had some traction. We had some stuff going for us at that time. So let's give it a shot, right? Because our whole goal throughout college was, man, it'd be cool to work on this full time.
Yes.
And we moved the goalposts every year on what that next goal is, but that was the first goal. It's just this is fun. We love working together. We're best friends. We're traveling the country, going college to college. It'd be fun to work on this once we graduate. But graduation was coming up really quick. And my parents were on me about getting a job, and I'd never had an internship. So talk about mechanical engineering, you kind of need an internship to have a career in there.
Right.
So I was taking a gamble each summer by foregoing that and deciding to work on this. But we just had a good feeling about it. And so we applied. We had an in-person interview out in San Francisco. We flew out during finals week to go do that. Promised them we would drop out if we got in, and fast forward a couple days, we end up getting in. So spent our summer doing that, and luckily, Patrick had graduated. Me and Nick had a couple classes to finish up, so we did those. But our full focus was on LineLeap at that point.
That's insane. So you get in, honestly, when I feel like once you get into there, that's probably such a big moment.
Yeah.
You think about, in a lot of cases with a lot of businesses, I'm sure you talk to someone who was the founder and they're like, nah, there wasn't really a big that moment. For you, did you feel like that was?
Yeah, it was. I kind of compare it to if I were an athlete, it'd probably be getting drafted. Right?
Yes, yeah.
It's just that,
It is.
step. Now it's legit. Trust me, we're still at the bottom, and we have a long way to go. But this is hey, we can live out that dream of working on this full time now, and we have giving us an opportunity. So yeah, that program was great because it was 3 months during the summer. But they're super helpful in making sure hey, are you doing what's best for your business? So it wasn't we were just hunkered down in San Francisco all summer. They wanted us out on the road, traveling, signing on bars, doing what's best. So, I was in and out that whole summer of being on the road, signing bars, because summer's when we would do that. And then I'd be back in, SF for meetings and different events around it.
Did the bar owners understand that you're a part of the Y Combinator, and did you have that as a proof point, or
they don't know that world, and that's the whole funny thing about,
because if you came to me, I'd be like, okay, let's talk.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a funny thing about working with small businesses and in particular bars is we have this two-sided thing where it's we're raising money from VC, so you do play up that Y Combinator thing, of course, and you use that for making hires and stuff like that, but then on the bar side,
you gotta understand your audience. You gotta understand your audience and what they care about.
To them what matters to them.
Yeah, the GM at Whiskey Jack's is too
know
familiar with what it's seed round.
Two shits about
exactly.
Exactly.
You can drop the DoorDash and the Airbnb thing, and maybe that rings a bell.
It helps.
Other than that,
I'm
it
sure.
doesn't. So, yeah, at the end of that program, we raised a couple $1 million in venture funding. We were able to make some key hires around the tech side of things, and most importantly, sales. So that's where our chief sales officer to this day, Tom Tolbert, joined us. He was revolutionary in helping us sign these bars. He looks a little bit more like the bar owners, whereas we look a little bit more like the users. So that was huge, in just us being taken more seriously going into these bars when it's him who's got years of experience in door-to-door sales, and again, just kind of looks the part. It was a complete game changer.
And then, so looking back on some of the early days where it's you're grinding out, trying to get more users, getting more people signed up, are there any lessons in terms of like the marketing and advertising the product that you're still like using to this day where you're like, wow, I maybe didn't realize at the time, but now you're looking back and it's like some of these principles still apply. Is there anything like that?
For sure. And like it started off, you know, the easy thing about LineLeap is our customers are sitting ducks. They're right there in line.
Yeah.
Those are our users, right? Like, you know, you could go dating back to the food delivery company, that was kind of a numbers game. How many students can we just get in front of to let them know about this app? Because anyone can order food, regardless of age or whatever. But for LineLeap, it was like you had to be 21, you had to be going out, and you had to be willing to spend, you know, 10 to 20 to 30 plus dollars to skip the line. So the easiest thing was just hitting them while they're standing in line, and that's why the first night at Whiskey Jack's, it was just let's wait till the line forms and then start talking to them. So the early days were a lot of kind of guerrilla tactics around that. Like we had little business cards, QR codes. We'd hire reps at all these campuses. If we couldn't be there, they would. Every busy night, they would stand out there in line and talk to customers.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't want to wait in line? Download this app.
Yeah.
Right? And you're at a spot where, you know, you're with a significant other or your buddies, or it's cold or hot or whatever. You just want to get inside. Oh my God, this opportunity is right in front of me.
Yeah.
So,
Human billboard kind of thing.
exactly.
It's
So
like,
that was a lot of our tactics, and you know we'd have like the classic A-frame sign and stuff like that. But you know, as time has gone on, we've had the luxury of now just word of mouth, and that's always been a big piece of it. And you know, again,
But you have to recycle the same. It's this because they're graduating and they're leaving a college campus for that core demographic, if that is your core demographic still.
Correct.
So like that word of mouth, like hopefully it stays in.
Absolutely, and that's been
passed
kind
on.
of the beauty of as time has gone on. Obviously, you know that word of mouth becomes stronger and stronger. But even in the early days, the same thing. If I tell you while you're waiting in line and you use it and you love it, you're gonna tell your friends
Who
you're
might
gonna
be
tell their
younger
friends.
and
And on a college campus, like word of mouth spreads like wildfire.
Yeah, it's
it's
easy.
crazy.
So-
Well, not easy, but
But it's been, you know, and even like we're still predominantly in college campuses for that reason.
Yeah.
It's way easier to get kind of that viral growth on a college campus versus like a city market where there's a lot more, you know, transient, you know, patrons
moving
and
in
stuff
and
like
out.
that.
Yeah,
Like a college campus, you have your 4 favorite bars.
Yeah.
And you go to those bars all the time with the same people week after week.
and the packs. I feel like
Yes.
you just have like a pack of
Yep,
people.
and Greek life and all
Yeah.
that. So all that forms like, okay, we just have to get the word out there, and you know, it'll do its job for us. So that was the biggest thing. And again, it started with just talking to people online and letting that word of mouth spread. Now, to your point, you have to recycle those users every single year because, you know, every year a portion graduates and a portion turns 21. And that's where kind of just like the knowledge of it kind of sticks. Is just as an underclassman, especially in Greek life, you see the upperclassmen using it, and you kind of just know this is something I'm going to use once I turn 21.
totally.
So that's been big for us. And then another kind of tactic that we've really leaned on lately is bar crawls. So it's been kind of the perfect thing to throw this
get on
bar
that.
crawl, and it's a way for us to introduce the app to users because they have to buy their T-shirt on the app.
Yeah.
So it gets them entering, you know, creating an account, entering payment info, buying a shirt. They get used to all that, and then they go on this massive event, which we're actually trying to set the world record in the spring for largest bar crawl.
Well, we can add 2 more names to the list.
Yeah, there you go.
Where's it at?
We'll be doing it at Iowa. So we have the unofficial world record, but now we're calling in the
You're calling Guinness?
Where was the unofficial? Was that
it was
Iowa?
at Iowa. It was 9,500 people.
Wow.
So it was massive. But as you can imagine, again, that's a way for us to get thousands of new users downloading the app, making a purchase, getting to know the system.
Right.
Now we have them to send push notifications to, email blasts to, you know, promote the bars on there.
Creating these cultural events that people
Right.
are interested in and want to share with each other. So that's really strong.
Yep,
I like
yep,
that.
100%. I think, you know, like other apps have done that. I want to say like Uber did ice cream, you know, free ice cream to get downloads, and you know,
This is
Tinder
different.
fruit parties. So it's like we throw bar crawls. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
great for our bars, and it's also helped us sign more bars.
More
too.
bars, yeah. I was going to ask, like, why not just do one bar tab? But that makes sense if you have multiple bars on
multiple
campus.
bars, and then we're able to say, hey, you want to be a part of this, you know, 5,000 person bar crawl?
Yeah.
Join the
All these
platform.
other bars are already on it. Why
Right.
aren't you?
Exactly.
So
That's
I want to ask about then Y Combinator, and like, was there branding lessons? Was there marketing lessons that you learned with the Y Combinator program.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, their slogan is make something people want, right? And that's like, again, anytime you're forming a product or we're thinking of a new feature, is it something our users are actually going to want and be effective? So that was a big kind of motto. And really the one that we kind of learned a lot was also just like think bigger. Again, as I said, in college, like our goal is just, it'd be cool to work on this full time.
Right.
Right. Well, we get to Y Combinator and they're like, if you don't think you can create $1 billion company, get out. So we're like, $1 billion? Like, why not like a $10 million company? Like, why does it have to be $1 billion? But they made you think big, and they made you think like, what are those features, and how could you expand this beyond what you're just working on today? And I think that was huge for us. So we were able to kind of open up our mind to, okay, how can we make this a $1 billion company? And that's now, one of our goals, and we have a path forward to that with, different features we're adding, different features we want to add down the road, different partnerships with alcohol brands and non-alcohol brands. So I think all that, it's now starting to come together where there's a path forward. It's still going to take some time.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the biggest things we learned. And then really just like the energy around that group when you have 150, 200 companies that are all working to do that. Just the energy you feed off of, and you meet other people that are also in the college space, also working in similar areas where you can kind of collab and feed off ideas and what's working for you guys. So I think that was a big part of it.
That's awesome. I was gonna ask too. This is kind of similar, but like, how does a startup or like LineLeap, how do you think about doing advertising? Because you're so focused on like the product itself and then like the guerrilla marketing. Right. Is there time to think about the logo? Is there time to think about like the brand, vision and what it's supposed to look like and how you want to make people feel when they see LineLeap?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been a big focal point kind of the last few months really, and it's come as we've grown our team and have time to like venture, because you're very in the weeds. It's how do we sign more bars?
Yep.
How do we build a better product, right? Well, now it's like we're at almost 50 employees now, and you're able to not only hire people that have expertise in that, but also just like be able to focus on it a little bit more. And I think that's been big, and I think we're still very unique in the sense of like, it's a very targeted product. A lot of products can just spray and pray almost, and it's like just a numbers game.
Yeah.
For us, it's still be targeted because we have to sign the bar first.
Right.
We have to have the bar signed off in order to then get users. But then it's also got to, it's got to be targeted to users in that area that go to that bar frequently. That so it narrows down the focus a lot. And again, we've largely gotten to 1 million users by very kind of guerrilla tactics of, again, starting with reps, talking to people in line. Well, then that kind of phased out as we started to get bigger, and then it required a lot of signage out front. So again, like, let's just put a billboard out front that says "Don't want to."
I saw the one. There's one that I literally walked past like right after we got introduced. I saw it was at Downtown Social.
Yeah,
is that what it was? On 2nd Avenue, like right by our apartment. And you were doing like it looked like a pop-up thing, and I saw the LineLeap like tent. Yeah. And I was like, wait, I know that.
Exactly. So
I know that guy
out front that is screaming in your face like, skip this line.
Yes.
Do you not want to wait in this line? So that was, like signage is a big piece of it. But then again, it's like word of mouth, and those bar crawls kind of achieve that because it's our way of getting those new users every kind of August on the platform. And now, we utilize like internal communications, like push notifications, emails, things like that. Our social media has grown a lot, so we leverage that, and some like micro influencers. So there's all of these ways we spread the word, but it still has to be very targeted. So we're not.
It's so clean.
Wasting.
I mean, when you think about the name, it explains the product very clearly. Yeah. So the positioning is very clear to me. Yep. I was going to say, like, the only thing this reminds me of is when you go to the airport and they have like those clear pass.
Exactly.
Yeah, the TSA pre-check.
But this is way cooler.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit more fun.
Well, you got a little bit of advice for you. Yeah. I'm sure you're asking for it. What my issue with TSA pre-check is right now is that it's become oversaturated. Yes. So like now, I am a TSA pre-check person, and when Gino and I travel together, he's in like the peasant line, and he still gets in faster than me.
Don't matter.
But you didn't have to take
it's
your
a
shoes
scam.
off.
But I did.
I wear slippers.
Thank God. Slippers. Yeah, exactly. It's like Gino prefers to take his shoes off.
Yeah, let the dogs breathe.
Yep.
But no, it's the product speaks for itself, and I could see there's so many probably like cool ways you could do these, like you were talking about like micro influencer, but it's people talk about in the advertising industry all the time, these like subcultures.
Right.
And if you can tap into like a micro influencer that's in touch with this subculture, it's
Yeah,
like
like-
that spreads like crazy.
They're like non-alcoholic influencers, like
Yeah.
that brand that could do some fun stuff.
Well, without a doubt, and like what's cool about that too is those micro influencers are students that love the product.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Right.
when we DM them or whatever, it's like, hey, would you do this for like credit? To skip the line for free? Like, yeah, absolutely.
And that's
Because it's like a
yeah.
currency of its own, and they just want to skip the line with their friends and have that ability. And it's like all you got to do is just throw a video up for us. It seems natural, and
Yeah, when it is natural,
Yeah,
because
right.
if you're using it, like
Exactly.
that's
They're
the
like
best
actual users
partnership.
that like the product. It's not some athletic brand or whatever that
Yeah.
they're forced to wear and pretend that they love. So
Yeah, that's where you see a lot of big brands get it wrong.
Yep.
They just throw money at some random massive,
Yep.
influencer that doesn't give a shit about their product, and it just looks
Yeah.
so forced.
exactly. And I think going back to your pre-check thing too, where it's oversaturated, we're able to control that for the most part because we do like price surging. So we don't do
Okay.
a monthly subscription. It's a free app. It's free for the bars to use,
Mm-hmm.
free for users to download. It's just kind of pay as you play. So for us, it's like, if it's game day, that price will just go up. And it'll try to bring
Yeah.
down that demand. So if too many
Right.
people are using it, price goes
Yeah.
up to slow that down and bring it back
course.
down so where there's not too many people doing it. If it was a $5 line skip, everybody would pay it. And
Yeah.
there'd just be a second line.
Right.
So
right.
to avoid that, you got to kind of raise
That's
more of
awesome.
those prices. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes,
'Cause you
Jack.
talked about it. Thanks, Gino. Earlier we were talking about it. This isn't obviously, a new idea in your
Right,
words.
right.
Why do you think LineLeap, what's the magic that LineLeap has that's been able to get it to a point where you're able to scale it, where every kid in his high school or his college dorm
Right.
wasn't?
Right, for sure. I think the biggest thing for us was kind of that resilience and perseverance around getting the bar signed on.
Yeah,
That is step
just the
number one, and
grind.
it's the hardest part. And I want to say the CEO of Open Table kind of said the same thing. Like our biggest challenge, which was getting restaurants signed on, was then our biggest barrier to entry.
Right.
Because
right.
they knew it was just as hard for the next attempt to do it.
Yeah.
So, or the next startup to attempt it. So I think that's been the case for us too, where we've been able to get in front of all these bars across country. We've been able to generate them significant revenue and really strive to just be a good partner for them. So if we can A, be a good partner, and B, generate them brand new revenue, it's a winning recipe to get them and
Yeah.
the loyalty and kind of feed off that. So, but that's been the biggest challenge, and it's what a lot of kind of copycats have tried, but they can't get past that. And then they'll even try to reach out to our bars, but our bars like, no, we've been with LineLeap, we understand what they're all about. And,
It is
so-
that human element, and the fact that you all just stuck with it.
Yeah.
And you were saying earlier those timely wins.
Yep.
Where you got it was like you're about to quit,
Literally.
and it's like, okay, wow, okay, we
Yep.
got something that keeps us going. We won this pitch,
Yep.
business plan,
Yep.
competition to fund us for another summer.
Exactly.
And it's just sticking with it, the
Yeah.
grind set, if you will.
And there's numerous of those. And I think that's what deters a lot of people, right? This is a simple idea, and clearly it works. and
Right.
Others have done it. But then you get, punched in the mouth a few times by
Yeah.
these bars, and for whatever reason, it just never really bothered us. And I joke that we just kept coming back and back and back because for whatever reason, we just really didn't care. We would laugh about it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't take it too seriously, and we'd go sign another one and come back and
Right.
eventually get them to agree to it. So, I think, that in large part is why we kind of found success and have just been able to feed off of it.
Yeah, you just have to experiment, and I think it's it's a lesson for even marketing executives that listen to this or check us out and hear from you. It's always keep trying new things,
Yep.
always keep testing, and you're gonna get punched in the mouth,
Right.
and something might not work, but that should never deter you as long as you're staying true
Yep.
to the
Without a
brand.
doubt.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
it's
And,
awesome.
Yeah, I think on the marketing side too, it's been fun to see that evolution. It started so simple with just the reps in line.
Yeah.
To, now we're starting to get more sophisticated and targeted and even utilize kind of the marketing channel. This is how a lot of companies work that they use the marketing as a sales tactic, whereas we've really used our marketing to only acquire users. We haven't used it to sign on bars per se.
Oh, okay.
So now our marketing team like we're spending a lot more time also helping like our sales team get leads and get in front of these bars to the point where we're almost getting like inbound leads instead of constantly having to go knock on doors, which is still a huge part of it. But
so is talk about like the social media aspect of it now too, and doing like having content be a part of marketing and like advertising. How is that strategy kind of taking shape?
Absolutely. So we utilize our social media again primarily for the users, right, and using those micro-influencers and trying to get more downloads and just people that know about the app. But at the same time, those bars also see that, and they're on Instagram. They're following these same people, and the more that they can see that, oh, this is a legitimate thing that our customers love and use, the more likely they are to be willing to have a conversation with us and ultimately sign on with us. So we kind of look at it like it's even if it's catered 99% to the users, there's going to be bars that see this and see the legitimacy of it. And we do other fun like things where we'll do like credit giveaways if you tag your favorite bar. So it's a way to like, get them to like, get like 2,000 comments of all these customers tagging their favorite bar and pinging them. So that's a fun one. We do like a March Madness style bracket with bars every February. So it's like a bar tab battle. And that's a great way to kind of feature like, a bunch of the best bars in the country and have them compete against each other. And that.
Who won?
This past year, we had a bar at Virginia win, so Trinity in Virginia, and then the year before that, it was Cam's at Illinois.
Oh yeah, no surprise there.
Yep. And they gave the Virginia bar a run for their money. I think it's pretty simple. So we pin them up against each other in a bracket format, and it's like most comments and likes, combined comments and likes moves on to the next round.
Got it.
So very simple. But I think that both bars had over 220,000 comments in a 24-hour period.
Are you serious?
Yes. I mean, these
oh
things
my
go
God.
around. So again, like a good tactic of like getting a bunch of users like honed in on this across the country and also getting bars to look at it. But yeah, it was wild. So Illinois crushes it, and Cams and Redline are
they're big.
Great partners.
They're big time.
Yeah, they do.
So
well.
So when did you sign on Cams?
So we launched with them in 2022, I want to say.
Okay.
They've been with us for about 2 years.
That's awesome. See, that's like...
But they were one of them that, told us no time no. And finally you get them, you get them to get across the finish line. So, and then they've been great, and they love us, and we love them. So it's like, it's awesome. But you gotta play that battle on a lot of these.
For sure.
Bars, so.
Yeah, I can believe that. My last thing is, what is next for LineLeap? Where are things going next? 'Cause I believe, I don't know if this is public knowledge, that you just got a pretty big investment.
Yeah, that's public. So yeah, we raised our Series A a couple months ago. So that was another one of those milestones.
How much was it?
It was so we raised $10 million at $100 million valuation.
Amazing. Let's quick clap it up.
Clap it up. Yep.
That's awesome.
A couple
okay.
big milestones with that and the 1 million users, but again, all just part of the journey too, right? And it was great, and we celebrated it, and it's gonna help us make some more key hires and be able to use that for growth. But now it's on to the next.
It's on to the next.
And keep it grinding. But we got some fun things in the pipeline. I mean, first and foremost, sticking with the basics.
Right.
Like more bars, more users, of course, but also trying to layer in some like new features. So we've been dabbling a little bit with like a social feed feature. So think of it kind of like Be Real, except for going out.
Waiting in line selfies.
There you go, or in the bar, hopefully.
Oh, you're in the bar. Yeah. But you're taking pictures of all your friends.
Take pictures
in the
of
line.
Yeah, take pictures of your buddies that don't have LineLeap.
As you're walking past.
Sorry, loser.
But no, that's a fun one because it's kind of like taking a selfie while you're in the bar. You get rewards for it, so you can redeem those for credit.
Love it.
Nice. For cover and line skip, so it's a way to also earn free line skips. But yeah, kind of a fun, just Be Real style type feed to show your friends where you're at. And,
very cool.
And then kind of some other ones. Doing a little bit of like mystery bag drops and stuff like that. So again, trying to partner with not only alcohol brands that want to be involved with our app and kind of be the first drink of the night, where we call it bundling, so to speak. So you buy a line skip, it comes with a drink.
Nice.
Get that drink slapped in your hand as soon as you walk in the bar. So that's a good one for both brands and good for the customer. But also like these mystery bags where it's like there's a couple apps out there already sort of doing it, but we figured we'd get in the mix where you basically you purchase a bag on the app, and it's at like the local convenience store or liquor store, and you go and pick it up, and it's got a plethora of different things.
A buzz ball.
For sure, it's
Have a buzz
it's a
ball.
good idea. It's a
Yeah,
great idea for like for a night out kind of thing,
Exactly.
like an
Kind of
event.
free,
It's like a pregame.
Yep.
Yeah,
Or
everyone-
we were thinking too, like a Sunday, right, where you're recovering and it's
Yeah.
got all your recovery essentials.
I
in
love
there.
that.
So,
I love it. Fun faster.
Again,
I love it.
more things that are just
Fun
centered
faster.
around fun and memories and kind of.
So do you think that will always that is gonna be like the guiding light, fun faster?
Yeah.
So from that like kind of brand vision, you could do a million different things, and it's
Absolutely.
as long as you're staying true to getting people fun faster.
Yep.
Is that something that you think about like, when you guys
Yeah.
are deciding on new products? Is it like, hey, is this gonna be fun faster?
Absolutely, and it's got to fit that overall vision and kind of like our core beliefs, right? And I think that's why we've been dabbling a little bit with like music festivals too. Like that's still an experience that is going out with your friends, and there's plenty of things that get in the way of that too, whether it's like the security lines or the concession lines. So, is there something we can do there? Is there something we can do with sporting events?
Yeah.
Is there something we can do at the airport? I don't know, but but it's all like just centered around like these experiences that you have and creating these like lifelong memories, or be a night out with your buddies, or going to a concert or an event. So, again, we're still pretty focused and honed in on like bars and especially college markets, but a little bit of the cities too, and can branch out from there.
I freaking love it.
How can people reach out to you if they want to connect, learn more, say hello?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a pretty good one. Instagram, but yeah, follow LineLeap too. Check us out.
Yeah,
but, you
follow
can reach
'em.
me on LinkedIn, and happy to connect.
Wonderful. Anything else, guys?
One last thing, one piece of advice, someone who's going into marketing they just graduated college. They were just using LineLeap last couple of years, but now they're going to their marketing job. One piece of advice.
I think I think one, try things out, right, and iterate quickly. And this goes for just creating a company, starting an app, you name it. But I think again, what we didn't do is we didn't let perfection hold us up. We knew night one that a shitty website is not what we're going to have forever, hopefully, right? Eventually we built an app, and we've iterated on that app a million times, and we'll continue to do so. But it's just getting something out there, trying it, seeing how it works, getting feedback from the users, which is a big one, and then iterating it from there. And I think the same can go for marketing strategies and stuff like that. Like, not every idea we've had works, or maybe it's too costly, or it's not a great ROI. So I think just figuring out those tactics and not overthinking it. Again, what we've done to get to 1 million users is pretty simple. Like, we haven't had to get that fancy with it. It's just hit the people where they're at, let word of mouth take over, at least for us. And we can iterate upon that and get cuter as we go.
Right.
But for the most part, it's just try something and iterate upon it. And